Kingy, a different scenario which you're addressing.
Yeah, it is, and this is just a bit of a hypothetical, really, but we always wait until teams have finished their opportunity to win a flag before we make a move in any form of coaching or overly assess or be too critical of what's happening. I just wonder, I look at what's happening at Geelong, and maybe they've levelled out a little bit in finding where they are on the AFL table, and Chris Scott's been there for an eternity and done an unbelievable job. I just wonder, when you look at the Brisbane Lions list and their football club being so settled and such a great place at the moment, they've had a great run with Chris Fagan. He's set them up for this opportunity for potentially an 8-year window that they're probably halfway through. I just wonder, would it be too ruthless to put all chips in the basket and go and get Chris Scott? And so we've had 4 or 5 chances with you, Chris Fagan. You've done nothing wrong. You've been a very good coach, but we just think if we can get a great coach, an absolute top liner who's been there for a long, long time and done it against the odds more often than not, that he can come in and we can refresh this message to the list. The new voice, the fresh game plan. We can challenge guys who are plateauing a little bit at the moment. Guys like Charlie Cameron and Zach Bailey and Hugh McCluggage, they're still very good players. But are they doing what the top liners other clubs are doing? I don't think so. Re-energise, reinvent, show a different system. Be the absolute pointy end of coaching. And give them a chance, whilst they're still in the window, to win that elusive flag. What's it worth to win a flag? How aggressive do you need to be? And the message to the club, we are doing this. Because we're not settling. We're not happy. We're not comfortable. This year's over. All right, so you can easily make the case they bounce next year, and they're a 14, 15, 16 win team next year. But are they the grand final contender, the premiership contender that we all think? I'm a gambler. I think if you've got the opportunity to get someone like this at whatever cost, you drive a wedge into the relationship that he has with Geelong right now, Chris Scott, and you say, come home and take us to the promised land again. That's where I see it. And there's nothing wrong with Chris Fagan, but this guy is a different beast altogether.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think there's similar examples in recent times. I mean, you think about Nathan Buckley. I know he had a really poor year, but Nathan Buckley was a good coach and took Collingwood to grand finals and so close. But then they decided to go, no, we're going in a different direction, and we've seen what Craig McRae has done. You can say the same about Leon Cameron. I remember when there was discussion about him, it was like, well, he's taken the Giants to finals and grand finals, and he's a good coach, and he was. But there's a greater coach, and it was Adam Kingsley, and they were speculating on first-time coaches, let alone a proven coach that we know is brilliant. So I think it's got real merit.
My caveat is I would only do it if you can get greatness.
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking a risk. I know what I've got, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. No, I'm not speaking ill of Chris at all. But I'm just saying if you can get that next level, hey, chips in.
It would be hard to see it actually materialising, wouldn't it?
Why?
I mean, for a start...
Well, because it's never happened, or it happens rarely. It happens in a lot of other codes.
Yeah, no, it does. It does go against what...
The safe place to not do anything. That's the safe place.
No, and I understand what you're saying, but they're a very close group with Greg Swan and Lee Matthews on the board and Chris Fagan. He's been through a lot.
They would put... If this decision had to be made, all of those gentlemen would put the club before any relationship.
So would Chris have to... Would they have to convince him for it to be
No, you just have to be honest with people. You just have to say, we've made this decision. You're not going to like it. You're not. But we've made this decision because we need freshness. We need to be aggressive. This is a list that's there to win one. You've had 4 or 5 goes. We love you. We thank you for what you've done. You brought this place from a 5-win club. 5 wins, bang, back into contention. We love what you've done, and we will celebrate you. And you will be a major part of this flag if we can get it. But we feel we need to make the decision to go and get the very, very best while there's an opportunity or a chance. They may not see it that way. Of course they may not see it that way. But, gee, this has been, what, 16 wins, 14 wins, 15 and 17 last year. Like that's a large part of your window. You're not there forever. A lot of people, we talk about Damien Hardwick reaching at the end to go and get those, swapping, trading out first-round picks to get those players. Well, why not go for the coach?
Well, a lot would have to change just to get Chris Scott out of Geelong.
No, I understand.
Is the other side of the equation. But
I get the speed humps.
Yeah.
But how aggressive do you want to be?
Let's stay on the Lions. We saw their performances of recent, what they've got to come, and let's get after their disappointing performance today against the Hawks. Let's have a listen to what Chris Fagan had to say, and he is trying to stay positive.
I've got a positive outlook towards the second half of the season. I've got no reason to doubt their ability to fight back. This is a bit of a unique situation for us. We haven't been in it for 5 years, but here we are. We're sort of, our season's hanging well and truly in the balance. So it'll be good. Whatever happens in the long run, it'll be good for us as a footy club and as a team to try and fight through it.
And that's probably the signs there. There's a little bit of, look, we can now use this to regenerate a little bit. The injuries have meant that we've been forced to find some talent. I think they've found some talent. I think there is enough there that probably wouldn't have got opportunities if their list was fully healthy. So I'm with Kingy. This isn't going to be their year, but they can look to it and say, okay, well, there's some opportunities for some of these kids to play a major role next year.
Yeah, and I have two Ashcrofts, all things being equal, next year, and a couple of the others coming off their ACLs. What about from a Hawthorn point of view today?
Sure.
And they had 3 runs of kicking 4 consecutive goals. It was all still though teetering a bit in the last quarter. It was a much more positive response than we saw last week.
Yeah, it was. I just thought they were so good at clearance. They were so aggressive. They were so dominant. They were just tough.
Yeah.
And they mauled them. Where it was there to be won, they were physically tougher, but they were a fraction smarter as well. Brisbane were charging at the footy, and leaving players free on the outside time and time again. They scored 57 points from stoppage today. Only 3 better results in the last 5 years, and one of those was against West Coast last year, and one of those was against North Melbourne this year. 2 really poor football clubs at that stage. So this is brutal. You don't get much better. Have a look at some of these.
Yeah, this was in the second quarter when they really got on top, wasn't it?
All second quarter, straight through the middle, bang. They just couldn't match them. I thought this was an awesome performance, and this is what Warple and Newcombe can do. And we probably have been waiting for this for a little while for those two to get going in unison. And Will Day was a major part of it as well. But you really don't see that sort of profile with your scoring as often as maybe we had hoped. 57 points from stoppage, it's huge.
And it was interesting to hear Chris Fagan talk about, well, they've lost their last 5 now to Hawthorn, and he said one of the themes has been their ability to not stick tackles against this Hawthorn midfield. They've done it to them a number of times. So you then have to question, okay, we know Dunkley's a tackle machine, but what's the mix and were they able to be strong enough in there against this Hawks?
And the reliance on Lachie Neale from a Brisbane point of view continues to be...
He was good, wasn't he?
Oh, he was unbelievable, but he just needed a little bit more help in terms of their support in the midfield.